Hello and welcome to this free immigration help channel. Now, about a week ago, I did a video explanation the process how to file a form I-539, the application to extend change non-immigrant status, which is quite actual during this time, this pandemic thing going on, and a lot of flights are delayed and even canceled. People are not able to go back, obviously needing to extend stay. And I really got a lot of questions on this video, and some of the questions are actually really good, and I wanted to make another video specifically dedicated to answering these questions to kind of help you along the process. So if you watched that other video that I did and follow the process, check out this one too. Maybe some of your questions will be answered here. And if you do have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I want to say that I try to answer every single question, but I wanted to apologize in advance because for some reasons, since recently YouTube, they changed the layout of the way everything is now in the studio, and some of the comments, they don't trigger the notification, unfortunately. I don't know why. So I've noticed that there are some comments in my videos that I have not answered. So if I didn't to yours, I really apologize. I try to get to all of them. But if I didn't answer to one, go to another video and ask me again. Really, all my goal here is to help you as much as possible. So I do want to answer your questions. Okay, so not gonna waste your time too much. Let's get straight into it. No specific order of the questions. I will just read out the question and do a little bit of discussion. So question number one, here it goes. Based on my current visit, I'm allowed to stay in the USA till July 15th, whatever. But my visa expires in August. Can I request that I should be given, for example, 3 or 6 months extension, or the extension request has to be what my normal visa validity covers? So let me point out here in this question, it's a very good question. What the person is referring to is two different things here, and that's what I wanted to talk about here specifically. Is the entry visa that you get in your passport. So it can be F1, student visa, right? It's an entry visa. B1, B2, it can be tourist visa. It's an entry visa. Basically, that visa that you get when you go to the embassy in your country, American embassy, US embassy, and you get visa. That's the entry visa. And it can be for different duration of time. It can be for 1 year, for 3 months, for 4 years, whatever, depending on the type of visa, depending on how the person you're talking to in the embassy feels that there are a lot of factors that are involved there. So let's take here an example that you got your visa for 1 year. The entry visa is for 1 year. What that means is that you can come in here into the US anytime throughout that year. The entry visa, however, does not determine how long you can stay here in the United States, because once you come in, you get a separate document that shows you exactly how long you can stay here in the United States. The entry visa does not determine that. So, person with this question here, referring to his visa expiring in August, it's really not related here to how long he can stay because it's an entry visa. So if he was, for example, back in his country, it means that anytime until August 1st, he mentioned August 1 here, so anytime until August 1st, he can enter here into the US. July 31st, he came here into the US, and that's fine, as long as it's within that time frame, right? But then when you come here into the US, you get the status. Sometimes it's referred to as visa, sometimes it's basically the I-94, that document that you get in the airport, and it shows exactly how long you can stay here. And we're gonna talk about I-94 some more because I've got some more questions, but I wanted to tell you guys, very important, whenever you are looking at how long you have left here in the United States you can stay, make sure you look at your I-94 and not at your entry visa, because even in my personal experience, I've seen a lot of people who confuse, and sometimes they even bought tickets and went back home because they thought that their status was expiring when they actually had another 6 months they could have been here in the United States. And of course, sometimes it can be inconvenient, sometimes it can cause problems. Like for example, in this case, the person might have his I-94 till October, so he doesn't even need to worry about extension. Make sure you check your I-94. Okay, let's get to the question number 2. We got a lot of them, so I try to answer all of them and try to not waste your time, but I want to make it as thorough as possible. Okay, what if I have 2 weeks left on my I-94? Good one. You're looking at the right things. And I just found out about this option, that is to extend the status, extend the stay. Can I apply even when I am almost out of date? Now, in my previous video that I made on the extension of non-immigrant status, right, on extension of your stay, form I-539, I've mentioned that you have to do it at least 3-4 weeks before your status expires, so you can have that extra time for the immigration services to review your application, process it, send you all of the decisions and stuff like that. But here's the thing. It's never too late. If you just found out that and you have your I-94 expiring, you know that you're not going to be able to go back home in time, file it. It's better to file it as soon as possible than, not filing it at all and obviously, messing up your visa, because then after your visa expires, it's much harder to fix things up. Because now this person here, even if he or she files it now, it is a little bit late, but it's better than not filing at all and messing up your visa. Definitely much better to do that. So don't hesitate. Make sure you file it. Okay, next question. Hi, I am filing for B2 extension and I am supported here by my wife who is employed in USA. Do I need to file I-134 showing her financial support to me? Okay, so B1, B2 visas, they are non-immigrant tourist visas. Basically, you are coming here as a traveler, as a visitor, as a tourist. So there is really no financial support that is needed to be shown, that is involved, because you are literally coming here as a tourist, as a visitor. So definitely no need for I-134 in this particular case. Next question. I'd like to add that it's often not possible to leave not applicable NA if you file it online. And this is referring to what I always say in every single video. I tell you guys, whenever you're filing the application, whether it is online application or in paper, make sure that you're not leaving blank fields. It's very, very important. I cannot stress enough how many times I've seen applications being sent back just for you, literally saying that you need to fill out the blank spaces. If they're not applicable, type in NA, N/A, which means not applicable. A lot of times. And the thing is, it's really not a big deal if you have your application sent back to you. You just fill those out and then send it back and then they accept it. But it's just a wasted time, because you send your documents, it takes about a week to get to USCIS, then USCIS reviews that for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they send it back to you another week saying that you need to put not applicable, and then you send it back again, and then they process it again. So like you wasted 2-3 months basically for really nothing. So make sure you don't leave blank spaces. So this person right here, he or she pointed out that sometimes you cannot put not applicable when you are filling out online applications, and that is definitely true. If that's the case, if some fields are grayed out and you cannot put not applicable, that's fine, leave them as it is. Sometimes, however, some of the fields in online application, they don't accept that slash symbol. So you put N and then you put slash and then you put A, and they don't accept that slash, they don't like it. In those cases, you can just put none, because there are no symbols now, no special characters, it's just none. do that, try that. And if that doesn't work, fine, leave it blank. You try it. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Okay, next question. If I couldn't pay for the fee, can I fill out I-912 and send it with I-539? Now, I-192 is the exemption to where it applies to a few different applications that require a fee. And as you know, I-539 at the moment, filing fee for it is $370, so it's a bit pricey. There are some circumstances to where you can file that exemption not to pay that $370. But here are a few things that I want you to consider. First of all, whenever you're filing I-912, first of all, there are very limited situations. It's certain very particular situations to which that exemption applies. And if you want to find it, if you want to take a look, just go to USCIS.gov, and I'm going to walk you through here, USCIS.gov, and then you go to forms right here, just click on forms, and you will find I-912, and here it is. Request for fee waiver, and we're gonna go there for details. You can click on that, and then you can find the instructions and the form itself. And then under the instructions, you will be able to see who is eligible here. And like I said, some applications are eligible, like for example this particular one, the I-539. As you can see here, I-539 application to extend, but only if you are an applicant with any benefit request as specified by INA section 245.17, or an applicant for E2 Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, which again is very narrow circumstance. So most likely it's not going to apply to you, but take a look, see if it does. And another thing I wanted to mention here, even if it does apply to you, keep in mind that it is additional time for waivers like this to be processed. So you are adding processing time on top of your application. So if you are doing this waiver, keep in mind, try to give yourself extra time, maybe another extra month on top of your application. So if you need to file the application I-539 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks before your status expires, make sure you give yourself another extra month to process for this waiver, because waivers, they do have additional time added for the processing. Okay, so done with that. Great question. Let's move on to the next one. Can we extend our extension on same trip due to COVID-19? You can extend your extension for whatever circumstances. There can be different circumstances. Obviously, you will be able to do it for current situation with the virus going on and everything, and a lot of flights canceled and delayed. But yes, just wanted to say, even if this COVID-19 is no longer applicable, whenever you're watching this video, 3-6 months from now, I don't know, a year from now, keep in mind that you can extend your extension. Basically, all you're doing is you're filing this same exact application to extend I-539. Great question. All right, next one. There's a glitch in my name on my passport and visa since I don't have surname last name. So while filing the extension, do I fill the legal name as it is in my visa or the actual name? Always fill out the applications with the name that you have in your legal document, which is passport. So if you have the mistake in your visa, it happens, it's fine. I understand how it feels. Personally had many times mistake done in my name, but use your actual name that is in your legal document, your passport, your driver's license, your identification card, whatever, because this is the correct name. Use your correct name. Great question. Let's move on to the next one. Got a few questions regarding this. What is the A number? A number is the alien registration number, and in most cases, if you are, if you're non-immigrant visitor here in the United States, most of the times this is not going to be applicable to you. You're not going to have that alien registration number. Most of the times the alien registration number is given to people who started an immigration process. So you applied for something, some sort of immigration process, some kind of immigration petition, you will be given that alien registration number. So if you don't have it, that's fine, don't worry about it. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Very, very good question. Actually, two questions in one. Let's get into it. There's a little bit of a story in there. I am an Indian citizen. I came to USA to visit my husband and was going to fly to Canada from here as I have received permanent residency of Canada. I had booked my ticket from USA to Canada in April, which got cancelled by the airlines due to the pandemic. We now have decided I should fly back to India instead of Canada due to pandemic situation and health safety. Also, I have registered with the Indian Embassy here in USA for evacuation travel back to India. So, my doubts are, number one, will only a written statement be sufficient to support my case? And number two, my husband is financially supporting me. Do I need to fill or submit any forms for stating this? Okay, again, number one, written statement. This is really the only thing that is required. If you will go through the required documents in I-539 application process, you will see that the only thing that is really needed is a written statement, basically where you explain in detail why you are requesting the extension of stay. And most right now in current situation is going to be much simpler. Obviously, you can just say, hey, listen, my flight is delayed, I'm not able to buy ticket, please give me extension. Really simple. Make sure that it's official. You're putting from your name, your address, your telephone number to USCIS, whatever address, dear sir or madam, whatever date. Make it official. Obviously, nice brief description of written statement. I am, my name, John Doe, I am requesting the extension of stay, blah 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 blah. Very, very straightforward, but in an official form. But here's the thing. It really depends if you're filing the application online or by mail. Because online, whenever you're filing online, you will be just copy pasting this statement in the system. You won't be able, there will be no place to add additional documents. So don't worry about anything. But like I answered to this lady's question, I said that if you are filing it by mail, it's up to you if you want to add additional documents. You definitely can. It's not gonna be bad if you do it. Here in this particular instance, she has obviously correspondence, right, between regarding this evacuation travel, which is good. It's an additional document that shows, basically it's the evidence that corroborates her case. And if she sends it with her statement, just one paper showing the email or mail, whatever she got, to USCIS, it will be easier for them. The officer will open her application, read her statement, and then bam, there is also evidence right there. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, easy. Regarding the online application, if you're filling out online and if USCIS needs additional evidence from you, they usually do send you a request for additional evidence. It happens, really not a big deal. Just send them whatever they ask for. But again, with this particular application, I-539, no additional stuff is needed. And then the second question, again, my husband is financially supporting me. Do I need to fill or submit any forms for stating this? Again, depending on her status, if she did not initially have to submit this evidence that her husband is supporting her, if she has a basic non-immigrant visa, like a visitor visa, B1, B2, don't worry about none of this additional stuff. You don't need to prove your financial being able to support yourself or none of that stuff, because you didn't need it for the B1, B2. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What's the address for direct filing of the application for those who have B1, B2 visas and are staying, in Florida? the person specified it where they're staying, because with some applications, depending on which state you're in, you will have different addresses to send to USCIS, because there are different processing centers, and you obviously need to file to the right processing center, and it depends on which state you live in. Great question. I have this pulled up right here. Very simple to find. This is USCIS.gov/I-539, and I will put that link in the description below, and you can also find that link in the description of that video that I've made on the process. So you go all the way down and you will see where to file. It will be folded like this. Just make sure to open it, and then you can see for a complete list of mailing addresses, blah blah blah. Click on that for my I-539 direct addresses, and you will be able to find your answer here. Seems complicated, but let me show you. The person asked specifically for B1, B2. Let's find specifically for B1, B2. So this is for H4 spouse of H1B, very specific, not applicable. No. P4, no. Extension of stay for T, non-immigrants, not applicable. U-based. V, change of status of T. No. Nope. Extension of stay, all other forms. That's us. That's B1, B2. So here it is. USCIS Dallas lockbox. So it looks like you're sending it to Texas Processing Center. Doesn't matter which state you're in. Looks like it's for anybody who is in B1, B2 category, and pretty much a lot of other who don't fall under this categories. Just go through the list of all of them and see if you are in any of these. And you can see there are two addresses. Just to mention it briefly here in this video so that you know, you can, if you're sending with USPS, which is US Postal Service, it's a government postal service, you send it to PO Box. And if you're sending with private service, FedEx, UPS, DHL, you send it to this address right here. I always recommend sending it with USPS to PO Box. I honestly have absolutely no problem with FedEx, UPS, or DHL, and I don't really have any explanation for why I recommend sending with USPS. It's just what every attorney that I know personally and I've seen, they send it with USPS, that I personally worked for and seen how they do their work, and all of the applications that I have been involved in, that I helped with and I filed myself, been through USPS and never had any problems. Again, it's up to you to decide. I don't think it's gonna make a difference, just saying. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Where do I get the USCIS online account number? Great question. Now, whenever you are filling out the application, the I-539, as you will see, you will have the option to file it online, which is good. I recommend doing that because it saves time. Instead of mailing, waiting for a week for stuff to get there, you can just file it online, instant. Definitely recommend. Now, if you want to file it online, the first thing it will ask you to do, it will ask you to register, to ask you create an account with USCIS website. Now, whenever you create the account, you will receive the email with USCIS online account number. So look out for that. If you didn't receive it, check your spam folder, because they do send it. So it's gonna be there. Great question. Let's move on to the next one. I have B2 visa and currently in USA. I entered USA with no duration status. The custom office only stamped my passport but no existing date. My return ticket was cancelled due to the COVID-19. Now do I still need to file for extension even though I don't have duration status? Is the application going to be denied because I have only 3 weeks left when my ticket was cancelled? Mean no flight to my destination. Please help me. Okay. I responded to this person already on the thing. I said it's urgent, very urgent, very urgent. You have to take a look at your I-94, and I have made a video specifically how to find your I-94, because since some time, about probably, I don't know, 5 years, maybe 10 years ago, whenever you fly into the airport, you would be given a paper I-94 stamped inside of your passport. So if you open your passport, you will have this little white paper that says I-94 blah 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 this and that, and it would have the stamp with the date until how long you can stay in the United States. They don't do that anymore, and whenever you are stamped here in the United States, I don't know if it has the return date. So make sure you look up your I-94 online, and I did a separate video of how to find your I-94 online. It's a government website that you use to pull up those details. All you need to do is enter your passport details, your name, and it will come up. So it's very, very important. If you haven't done, if you don't know, because there's always when you enter the United States, you are always given that status, that duration status. Always. Very important for you to know that. So if you don't know your I-94, look it up, check it out. It's on my channel. There's a video on how to pull up your I-94. Very, very important. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Blank spaces of this section are filled with not applicable. Okay, so another question regarding the not applicable. It's basically, again, it was the same thing. As you can see, I do have a lot of questions regarding not applicable. Again, let me point it out. Very important. Don't leave the blank spaces. If you can't, if you can't fill it out with not applicable, do it. Don't leave the blank spaces. All right. So the last question that I'm gonna do here in this video. Let's get into it. I applied for B2 visa extension, but asked for only 1 month's extension, as I thought it would be fine, but still stuck here. However, I have the receipt number and the USCIS has not started my application yet. Any idea how to ask them to change the extension date? Excellent question. You know, whenever you're filing your extension, it does ask you for how long you want to have your visa stay, your status here. Not your entry visa, your status here extended for. Understandable. And a lot of times we really don't know. We guess, okay, well, hopefully in a month this whole whatever is going to be over and I'll be able to go back. And we are not able to go back even in a month. We don't know that. Here's what I wanted to point out here. Most of the times your visa, your status here is extended usually for the same amount of time that you have been given when you are entering the United States. Okay, so if you are entering with a B1, B2 tourist visa, right? Like for example in this particular case, and you're given 6 months, right? If you, by the time it's expiring those 6 months and you're filing for the extension, if the extension is approved, even if you ask for 1 month, even if you ask for 2 weeks, most of the times you will be given 6 months. So in this particular case with this person, I wouldn't really worry about trying to contact the USCIS and asking them to change the stuff for whatever. First of all, they look at the applications, they see the timeline, and they understand that now, okay, it's a little bit too late. You know, if we give him a month, we've been processing this application for about a month, and then we're gonna give him like a few days. That doesn't work like that. So most of the times they give it about 6 months. In B1, B2 situations, most of the times it's between 3 months and 6 months. Again, most of the times it's 6 months, sometimes it's 3 months. And again, it also happens when you enter the country. Sometimes they give an entry status for 3 months, sometimes for 1 month, and I've even seen cases where they give it for like 2 weeks, which is really, really weird. But it happens sometimes. Again, it really depends on a lot of factors. It can be a mood of your immigration officer, customs border person who you're talking to, and they just not happy that day and they give you 2 weeks, you know, instead of giving you 6 months. It happens. It's really hard to explain. But yes, whenever you're filing the extension, most of the times they give you about 6 months if you're filing the extension of B1, B2. Again, it can be different depending on what status you initially had. So for B1, B2 it's this. For F1 it can be different. For other visas it can be different again. But keep in mind that's usually the processing, the way they process things. And regarding the process, I wanted to say, typically it takes between 3 and 4 weeks for these applications to process. However, the USCIS, even though they still are working on all of the applications, they are still reviewing all of the applications how they were doing it before. Keep in mind there still can be delays just because of all this procedural change that is happening there. You know, they're trying to opening up their offices, which actually their offices will be open pretty soon. They recently made an official announcement beginning June 4. Their offices, so in 3 days, their offices will be open again for whatever appointments if you need. I personally would not recommend scheduling an appointment right now because it probably would be crazy. A lot of people are worried about different things, different that. I get a lot of different questions on this channel regarding other applications. People worry if they're processed or not. Don't worry, they're still being processed. There can be some delays, but they're still being processed. So I try to make it short, came out long, sorry about that. If you have any additional questions, like I said in the beginning, I try to answer all of them, and they actually are very helpful, because if you ask a question and then I answer the question on the video, somebody else will go through the comments and read, the questions and the answers, and it will be helpful to them as well. So you're not just helping yourself, you're also helping other people, and you guys are also helping me as well, as almost 1,000 subscribers now, 950. So probably by the end of June it will be 1,000 subscribers on this channel, which is pretty crazy. I didn't expect this channel to grow so fast, so much, but all I'm doing this to really just be able to be of service to people and help people, because that's what I enjoy doing. I have experience with it. I'm not in any way an immigration attorney or a legal representative or anything like that. This is not a legal advice in any way, I have to say that, but this is just my personal experience with things, my personal, all the information that I'm giving here is taken from the official source, which is USCIS.gov. This is official government website for U.S. citizenship and immigration services. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. I hope you're staying safe with everything that is going on right now, and I hope you're doing everything properly with the immigration process. Again, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.